Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon again. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We are going back to that horrible world known as JRC, but first, the usual disclaimers. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, pertinent links are right there in the description box, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive where we get the majority of the material for this channel when discussing the JRC. Neuroclastic's article, the one where they interviewed over 800 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program, one that got so deep under the JRC's skin that they threatened a defamation lawsuit on Neuroclastic if they did not remove it from the website. Luckily, Neuroclastic's like me. And they said, we'll just put it politely, they said no. Obviously, there's something in there that JRC doesn't want you. There's something in there that the JRC doesn't want you to see. Excuse me. So please read it and share it. We've got their GoFundMe up because unlike the JRC, us advocates are not made of money and we do not have access to unlimited resources that manifest out of nowhere. To our trigger warnings, folks, we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys. You're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips or surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please utilize the headphones. And also, folks, we do have this channel marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity and speak on dark subjects. So if your child's 16 and younger and watching, parental supervision is advised. Alright. Also, another warning. Sometimes when I get into rants, I will go into left field and take another left turn. The rant babble can go on for longer than I anticipate. So if you want to spare yourselves my special kind of word salad, it won't hurt my feelings if you just want to take a look at the things inside the description box. But I do ask that you do anyways. This is extremely important, alright? Okay. Now we are going on to the next sentence. And boy, I've got a lot to say about it. Alright? And you'll see why I have that little Facebook niche up there here in a moment too. It's to make a point. Okay, so where we were. Alright, here we are. His SIB and AB quickly and significantly decreased. We talked about how that happens when you're under threat of violence. That doesn't validate the fact that you're torturing someone. All right. With successful treatment, EL has been smiling again, making eye contact, excitedly naming caregivers as they enter the room, verbally requested preferred items and activities, attending community outings, completing pre-vocational tasks, and attending multiple overnight home visits without support staff. The JRC, although there's more than just them who also engage in this, although they tend not to physically torture us, they prefer psychologically mind-fucking us. They have this thing. Well, obviously, the methods worked because you're showing us what you want us to see. They don't comprehend or understand that it is a mask. Would you like to know why EL is doing all of these things? It's because EL has already been there for decades. He understands that if he does not do these things, what the price is going to be. So to spare himself as much abuse as humanly possible, he slaps that mask right back on again and shows them all the things that they're listing here. And because they are getting what they want to see, that's all they care about. Most of people like this do not care about the psychological, emotional, and physical toll masking takes on us. And they always seem confused because because it really is inevitable, one can suppress and pretend for only too long after all. When the mask drops and the behaviors come back, they can't understand that what they've been seeing is a lie. They don't want to see it. So what they'll do is double down on the torture. This is going to be a relatively quick video. I'm not saying this because I am vain, but we're going to do a little bit of an experiment here. If you could, you see where I am on camera here in front of the screen? Please keep your eye on that for me. As I've told you guys, this is the me you know. This is Tiffany without the mask. This is the real Tiffany. The one who's cranky, foul-mouthed, all out of fucks to give. Wouldn't try to filter my words even if I could. This is the real me. Right? Okay. Keep your eyes on that. This picture here, that was taken about 2017. You notice the difference, right? Perfect makeup, perfect hair, eye contact, smiling. That is the mask. It is the mask that I have labeled as the doll. Becoming the doll, being the doll. Part of the ritual of putting on the mask for multiple years has been putting on the makeup, wearing the expensive, appropriate clothing, the proper makeup. It is essentially doing all those things they just listed there. Me, being the doll, am engaging. I'm social networking. I'm engaging in small talk with bright eyes and large smiles. It's going to movie theaters. It's going to the malls. It's engaging after conducting workshops by going out afterwards and pretending that I am having the time of my life. Engaging, charismatic, drawing people in. That is the mask, ladies, gentlemen, non-binary, whatever you identify as. That picture from Facebook is the doll. It is a persona that I crafted and made up over several years, starting with the last couple of years of high school. She isn't real. She is a projection back to the general public and others that need to see it of what I have concluded over observations in several years, what they expect and want to see. I do it when I need to deal with politicians, face to face, or screen to screen, as the case may be. When when I have to do workshops, and I know no matter how exhausted I am, how much I do not need to be trying to deal with people after the exhaustion and the stress of getting through doing a workshop, you wouldn't know it. Because that's the mask I'm wearing. It's me reflecting back at you what I have observed over several years, what people want to see out of me. It's an illusion, a mirage, a character I invented, if you will, with bits and pieces taken from a bunch of other people, with the primary thing that I base the doll off of is the expectations that were astronomically high in regards to how I dress, wore makeup, and presented to myself. In regards to my aunt, and a lot of the attitudes of my mom, and the charisma of my uncle. That is the doll. The doll is not real. You may see the doll and think that while I'm wearing that mask, that I'm doing all of those things willingly, I'm engaging willingly, I'm making suggestions, all of this willingly, and I'm enjoying myself because that's what I need you to think. Okay? Some of us are very good at it, some of us are not. But pretty much every neurodivergent, regardless of what the diagnosis is, has something similar. They mask. I mask. We reflect back at you what you have shown us you want to see from us. Whether it's in the effort to get something that we want, you know, like me wishing to be treated and seen as a full human being as opposed to a list of symptoms or burden, or it's when I know I need to charm you so that we can work on the different laws we need to help make things better for people like me, so that maybe at some time, maybe in a far off time that more than likely I will never see, there may be a neurodivergent generation someday that won't have to wear a mask and pretend to be someone they're not. It's one thing to tell you guys numerous times about going, being, and becoming the doll. But I've noticed it's the visual things that tend to stick with us the most. And as when it comes to resources in regards to talking about masking, most of what I have is from my own lived experience, photos, and the things that I have done. That's why I thought it would be interesting to give you that visual, so that you can understand how it is that one of us, like EL here, smiling, making eye contact, naming caregivers, even faking enthusiasm. And by the way, folks, of all the things that really soul sucks and drains my energy the most when being the doll is faking enthusiasm. You want to talk about the 14, 15 hours sleep I have to have after that just to be able to recover, and the fact that I better have 3 days where I don't see a single living soul that's not my cat, that one is usually it. I want this message not just to parents, but to direct care staff too, so that you can understand just because we're showing you what it is you want to see doesn't mean that that is in all actuality real progress. Especially in a situation like with the JRC. Well, after all this time and all of these decades, the triggers that were causing EL's behaviors have continuously been ignored and never dealt with. I had to show you why it is that he can smile. He can seem like he wants to go out and be social. Why he can do that so well. It's what we learn to do in order to be able to survive. Many of us first start developing our masks as a way to at least try to alleviate a little bit of the abuse we go through on a day-to-day basis. If you learn nothing from me, please learn that. If we look happy, if we are doing things that are very much what we know, like actual common textbook things autistics do not like to do, and you're seeing one of us do it and do it convincingly, more than likely you're interacting with the mask. I'm going to go ahead and close on that one, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do get tend to get removed from time to time. So please, folks, don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe. Please don't forget to utilize those comments. I do appreciate your time. And as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea do hope you have a good one. I'll see you all here in a few minutes. Bye-bye, everyone.